I heard you just say hour by hour here, literally with Josh. What, if any, can you give us detail-wise in terms of progress you've seen in whatever capacity he's been working this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to do that right now, John, because he hasn't practiced. So we are literally in a hour-to-hour situation here, just looking at how he's going to progress through the day and as he goes through his different tests medically, making sure that he's able to check the boxes in a progression to where we can see if we can proceed through the course of the day here.
In terms of game planning, certainly we understand confidence in Case, but there is a skill set difference in terms of what he and Josh can do. How does that affect the way you approach things, and especially in the final days here leading into facing Minnesota?
Right. I think we've planned for this potentially right from the start. And so we'll see where it goes. I think, the other thing you have to layer in now is the potential for weather come game day. And here we go, right, with that in terms of that could be the case through the rest of the season. So, we do the best we can. I know here's at the end of the day, Josh needs to be Josh. If he's able to play, and if Case plays, then Case needs to be Case and run the offense.
And lastly, for me, Josh being Josh at times can almost be a Superman effort at times. And he can seem to, maybe when things aren't going well, make up for it because of his skill level. How does that sometimes mask maybe some of the deficiencies offensively, and how can maybe not having his top tier playmaking ability maybe help get back to basics for that unit?
Well, I think number one, we each, all of us have to look at ourselves and say, do my 111th and do my 111th to the best of my ability and step up our game, whether we're with Josh or without Josh. I think that's really where it starts. And so that's number one. And number two is whoever plays, they're asked to execute, in this case at the quarterback position, their job as well. And, Josh does a phenomenal job. He's extremely talented and he loves to play, he loves to compete. We've all seen, all of us, at least in Western New York and probably beyond that, have seen what he's able to do. And so I would say that that's the case with most elite quarterbacks. They make people around them better. And we're fortunate to have that here in Buffalo. That said, at the end of the day, I've also been around it where the elite quarterback hasn't been able to play. And the best thing you can do is focus on doing your job to a higher level.
Thanks, Sean.
Yep.
Coach, good morning. Mookie Hawkins, Buffalo Sports 1080. How you doing?
Good morning, Mookie. How you doing?
I'm good, Coach. I'm good. Matt Milano's status, where is he in reference to playing game day?
Yeah, he looks like he's in a good spot. He practiced yesterday, did a good job. So he should be ready to go.
Excellent. What has been the vibe, this week, with practice, with everything going on, obviously, and what do you think this team, what is going to take for this team to earn the W Sunday?
Well, the vibe around the building, the guys have been focused. We practiced yesterday, obviously, and Wednesday, and you're working on improving fundamentals. You're working on and executing the game plan, the details needed to execute the game plan at a high enough level. And that's really what we're focused on. And we've got a good team coming in here that's 7-1, and they're playing good football. They're well coached. They've got a good running game. They can rush the passer. They've got a great receiver on their side as well. So, the challenge is in front of us, and we've got to get ourselves ready to go.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Good luck Sunday.
Thanks.
Hey, Sean, John Worrell.
Hi, John. I lost you, John.
Hello. Are you there?
I got you. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
No, knowing how valuable Josh is to this franchise, and to be at the point where you're hour by hour, and we're on a Friday, 2 days before the game, and you're not sure he's going to practice. What is the risk reward at this point of what you're might get out of Josh to play him as opposed to sit him for maybe 1 week given that this debate seems to be at this point of the week?
Yeah, I mean, respectfully, John, I think I know where you're coming from. And those are all things that we talk about. As I mentioned earlier in the week, and I've mentioned numerous times before, we put the health and well-being of this player's safety at the forefront of every conversation we have in situations like this. And we take it very seriously. So those are all conversations that have taken place and will continue to take place with every player, in particular in this case, Josh.
And just on Jordan Poyer, where is he on his injury? Is he week to week? Where are you with him?
Yeah, as I mentioned, a few minutes ago, he's ruled out for this week. He remains day to day.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Sean, when you mentioned before how Josh needs to be Josh if he is to play, I know player safety is obviously so important, but is that you need him to be 100%? Like, just what would you maybe need to see out of him to make that decision that he can play his own game?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably getting too far down the road at this point or into the weeds, Catherine. Respectfully, we just got to continue to take it through the day here, and we'll see. And listen, I'm gonna do a great job of being a listener, also in terms of listening to our medical team.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, I was just curious, what has Josh been like this week? What has your perception been? What's his personality been like? Just what has he been like kind of behind the scenes?
Yeah, he's been great. He's been Josh, like he normally is. Yeah.
Would you know anything was wrong with him if you didn't know something was wrong with him? Kind of been.
He's been a player on our team. He's had his normal personality, Elena. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm just curious too, for you this week, is it hard not like just to stay focused on getting Case prepped and all that? What has he been like working with him this week? And what's it been like seeing Case kind of go through this week and kind of take over more of that responsibility? Yeah,
Case is a true pro. And we have all the confidence in the world in Case and Matt Barkley for that matter. And he's been great. He's a great teammate. Players enjoy having Case around and what he does for our football team. And he's very unselfish in his approach, very humble man, and how he goes about his business. So he has earned all the respect in the world around here. And I know he'll be ready if called upon.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, one more from me. How have you seen Cam Lewis acclimate to playing the safety position since making that move late in the preseason?
Yeah, he's done a good job, John. He has. He's the one thing about it, it's been interesting, with some of the injuries we have had at times, Cam in this case has had to play really three different positions: safety, corner, and nickel. And he's done some of the corner and nickel jobs before, but in this case, adding safety on top of that is that's a challenge. And he's been able to handle it. And just his mindset is that there's no job ever too small, no job's ever too big. And I love that mental toughness that he has.
I know he's certainly not the first or only corner to get some time and be slide back to safety, but from a skill set standpoint, when you decide to make a move with a player, and then Cam in this instance, do you need to see anything, or is it simply, all right, he's a good defensive back, we think he could just naturally do it?
No, I think there's some subtle differences when you play safety versus corner or nickel, and you look to see if some of the characteristics that you look for in that position, specifically if they're there when you move the player, or sometimes you see them before you move the player. So I just think it's all just a feel for who he is as a player and just what he can do for us.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, just with all the uncertainty this week and preparing for all these different scenarios, I was wondering, you've been around Ken Dorsey for a few years now, but with him in this new role, how have you seen him handle this week? Like, what is that like for him having this so early in his first season as OC?
Yeah, there's challenges that come up, this being one of them. When you're on the offensive side of the ball, defense obviously is a little bit different, but he's been very steady, and so has our team. They haven't flinched, and we go about our business, and that's what you do. You get yourself ready to go.
Is there anything you guys do differently working with him this week? Just again, when there's a lot on his plate of preparing for all those different scenarios?
No, I mean, from a distance, in terms of him not being in that seat before, he's been around that before. Number one, himself being a quarterback in this league and maybe being in that role in particular. And then number two, he's seen it as a quarterback coach in Carolina when he was working with Cam Newton as well. So, and we have veteran members of our coaching staff that have been around it as well.
Great. Thank you.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. Apologies if this was already asked. I jumped on a little bit late. With Josh today, you're basically going to see how he does leading into practice to determine if he's going to practice, if I heard it correctly?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sure.
That's all for today. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.